Hi guys, welcome to my new video. This is my first video from Western Europe or from Schengen area because recently I got my Schengen visa as a Russian citizen. The first country I'm visiting is actually the Netherlands because I applied for visa to the embassy of the Netherlands. But unfortunately today I'm not going to share views of Amsterdam or some touristic attractions because mostly these will be my first impressions. I will tell you how I've been feeling in the very beginning of my journey and the troubles I had passing the passport control as a Russian citizen. And also it's important to say that in the next 5 minutes I will have a bit worse sound because it was recorded from my phone, but I didn't want to refilm that part of the video because it was very essential to leave that emotions and impressions that I recorded there. But then again, you will hear me from this thing. Just bear with me, it will get better. My motto in life. Okay, so I guess welcome to my first video from the European Union and from Amsterdam. I am so tired now and I have been through such a stress. Okay, I will tell you the story starting from the airports in Tbilisi. I was very anxious. It's not just this pleasant anticipation of a journey, but it's a really physical threat that I felt to me that I catastrophize every aspect of my trip. For example, when I was booking this hotel, I was worried that it's going to be some sketchy place and that all the good reviews on the booking and Google Maps are faked. And also the booking website offered me a free transfer from the airport and I decided to use it because it's already paid for me. I used that transfer, but I found some negative reviews. I was like, no, they're going to kidnap me. I understand it by my reason that everything is going to be okay, but still I cannot control what my body is doing and I know that it is normal and I just had to live through it. But also I want to share some funny moments that happened in the airport of Tbilisi. There was a dog, a homeless dog with this, yellow chip. It is very common for Tbilisi to chip homeless stray dogs, and it was running like inside of the hall. There was a company of girls and they laughed at this dog and I also laughed with them. It was such an ice-breaking moment amidst all this nervousness for me. And then I embarked on the Georgian Airlines, had some snack. I actually thought that they were going to offer us something like a hot meal because I was hungry and it was 5 a.m. and it was a 5-hour flight directly from Tbilisi to Amsterdam. And when I arrived, before the passport control, there was some pre-check where a woman just asked me, where are you going? And I think it is such a silly question, but I understand why they're saying it, just to check if I'm sane right now. And I said Amsterdam, and then she asked why, and I used my beloved Russian phrase that Russian immigrants say when they come to Georgia. I said tourism. And then she asked where I'm going else. I said Denmark and other countries of Europe. So I knew that it's normal. But what happened at the passport control? Oh my god, I was so stressed because the woman asked me again, where are you going? And this time I answered now to the hotel. And then she said, how many days you're going to stay in Amsterdam? So I said the amount of days and she asked, where are you going next? I said to Denmark. And so she asked me to show the tickets to Denmark. So I showed the ticket from Amsterdam to Copenhagen, but then she asked the next country. I said Sweden, and she said, do you have tickets to Sweden? And oh my god, because of this fear and anxiousness, I completely forgot that I'm not going to fly to Sweden. I'm going to actually take a train from Copenhagen to Malmö and then a train to Stockholm. So for some reason I thought that I do have a ticket, my flight ticket, so I searched for it in my Gmail. The thing is that I don't have this particular ticket from Copenhagen to Malmö because, well, this route is considered like a public transport route, so I could not buy a ticket for it beforehand. So anyway, I just showed to her the ticket that I do have on my email from Malmö to Stockholm, and then she asked for my return ticket to Georgia. So yeah, I showed her that ticket, and also she asked for reservation of hotel in every country that I'm going to visit. And so I just showed my booking account, and there every reservation is confirmed. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm so lucky. What if I didn't have booking and booked it all separately on the hotel's website? And finally the officer said like, you're free or something like this, and I was like, thank you. But yeah, it was stressful. When the taxi driver picked me up, he turned out to be a normal person who took me directly to the hotel, and he was very polite. And I was looking at the window and I saw an LGBT flag waving next to some medical hospital, and there was an inscription like, everyone is welcomed here. And I was like, yeah, it's just some small detail that probably I will see more walking here in the future, but still I felt that it's a pleasant thing. And also the nice reception. Like, it's funny how different receptionists meet you at the airport checkpoint. They're like, where are you going, where are you going back? They're very suspicious. But here at the hotel, okay, you are already approved to be in this country, and they are so smiley, so polite. So here is the area. There is even some kitchenette. Here is my bed and the view. Honestly, it looks like some American university campus. I don't know. It looks peaceful. I was so scared. And they even gave me a city map. And here's the city center. I live somewhere here probably. And I'm going to visit this park for sure. And yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, let's go. So I'm in the hotel again, and sorry for filming inside again, because it would be better to show you surroundings, but now emotionally I feel that way, so that's I want to talk only here. Maybe after that I will film somewhere in the park or in the street. And I wanted to share my first impression, because so today is still the first day, and after I slept in the hotel, I wanted to go outside to have dinner, and oh my god, I had a very delicious pasta, but the price, it was about 20 euro. It's like 3 times more expensive than I would buy the same in Georgia. I have to prepare myself to the Western European prices. Also, I was sitting there in that cafe, and you know, I saw it on TikTok that some people are scared to eat alone in cafes. I'm not scared, but today I was. It's not fear, it's just the feeling of discomfort, because everyone there was in couples, in families, and I also have a lot of doubts. Like what I'm telling you now, I hope that I will leave this particular state of mind only in the beginning of this video and not spread it all over all the next videos, but I still want to share this in the video. And whenever I come to a new place, I'm basically scared to go out of a hotel, and also I tend to have a lot of doubts about myself just when I'm surrounded by people here. For example, when I was sitting in that restaurant now, there were tourists from, I don't know, they were speaking English, French, Chinese, and so I was comparing their situation with myself. I envy, yes, I know it's bad, jealousy and the envy, it's bad, but I still do have this feeling. I'm jealous of the fact that they can travel here, and then where they will return home, where they are also welcomed, and I am here by some very unstable position. I was lucky to get this visa, but only for a limited time, and like nobody needs me here, and when I go back to Georgia I will be there and not knowing where to go next again. So I don't know, this feeling of being miserable. I think if I was traveling with someone, it would be better. And another thing I wanted to point out is the diversity I see here. So many people of different races, skin colors, hairstyles. I saw this all only just for being outside, like for 1 hour. I cannot even imagine what I will see tomorrow when I go to the city center. But just seeing these rainbow flags, seeing people with water bottles colored in rainbow, or just seeing the diversity and this comfortable public transportation. And next to my hotel there is a train station, and I was scared that it would be dangerous, but no, it is so pedestrian friendly, and I felt comfort. Even though I said now that I feel extremely anxious, I still felt comfortable. Anyway, this is my first impression, also a little bit spoiled by my own anxieties, but I hope that tomorrow it will be better. Anyway, I also want to show you what I bought in a grocery store. And another thing that adds up to my anxiety is the prices here, and I knew that in Western Europe it's higher than in Eastern one, but still, when I see these prices, I think that, okay, with my YouTube income, I live good life in Georgia. I would live good life in Russia, but here I will become poor if I move here. For dessert, I got these waffles. I don't think that they are healthy, but I just couldn't find anything else. To make breakfast, I got this cheese, some water, also bread with muesli. Interesting, I think it's good. And another thing that surprised me is Coca-Cola Light. Like, we don't have this in Georgia. I remember there was such a thing in Russia several years ago. Sometimes they add such flavors, but well, now there's no Coke in Russia, only transported from Kazakhstan, I think. So I got this amount of things for about 20 euros. And now I will just take a rest and plan my tomorrow's activities. I want to sign up for a free walking tour because I was worried that I don't have anyone here and there are so many tourist options, and where should I go? To that museum or to that building? Should I watch a lot of vlogs to plan my trip? But I decided that at first I just want to go for some classic tourist destination with some local guide. Another thing I wanted to add is that when I feel so anxious here, I realized that I miss Georgia so much, because not even Russia, because I lived in Georgia for 2 years already, and I start to feel emotional when I remember about my friends there and my all favorite places. But what calms me down is this realization that, well, I will return there anyway, and even though now I'm traveling alone, I am creating these new neural connections, I'm becoming smarter, and I will also enjoy overcoming all my fears during this trip, and I will make this video. I will learn so much. So, okay, see you tomorrow. First time using public transport here. I didn't expect that it would be a train.
We are standing now in the marina in Amsterdam. We have vastly more bikes. Got that wrong.
So right now I've just had a walking tour with the tour guides, and I will tell you more about this in my next videos, because I wanted to divide my first very negative days from the other stuff that I filmed, and in my next videos I will tell you about what I learned about the Netherlands and the next countries that I visited. Now, by the way, I'm not in Amsterdam, obviously. Guys, can you guess what country this is? If you are good at geography, or if you are from this country, write in the comments. Yeah, I'm posting this video with some delay, and now I can share how I've been feeling in the past weeks of traveling over different European countries. And basically all the anxieties and fears that I listed in the beginning of this video, I got rid of them. Like, really, like in the beginning I literally was scared to go out of the hotel and explore the streets around me, and of course I'm still trying to be cautious now, and I do feel anxious if I am at some unfamiliar railway station. And throughout my weeks here I have been feeling like bursts of happiness, and I told to myself how I am proud of myself, how I like myself, and how I love this life and the world and people around me. and yeah, now it feels better. Not only the sound improved. By the way, many people ask me why I applied to the Netherlands embassy, and the answer is simple: because the lawyer who helped me to apply for the visa told me that there are basically two options, France and the Netherlands, where I will get the bigger chance of getting the visa as a Russian citizen and Georgian resident. So yeah, I chose the Netherlands. And also I want to thank you for all the supportive comments that you wrote under my previous video about getting the visa, but also there were comments like Russians should not be let into Europe. Instead of traveling to Europe, go back to Russia and fix your country. And you know what? I would love to return to Russia, but you would not be able to learn about my success in fixing the country because I'm afraid there's no internet in Russian prison cells. And the last thing I want to point out is this Pasadena short. I want to explain myself because I got some comments. Oh, cool, you've been to Pasadena, welcome back. But here's some interesting fact. In Eastern Europe, at least in Russia or in Georgia, where I bought this short t-shirt, it's common to use names of American like cities or states or universities because it's cool. For us, it doesn't mean that we were there. And I regret that for my Europe trip, I took these America-themed clothes. But I mean, I am traveling light, and my wardrobe consists of this t-shirt, a t-shirt with Georgian letters, a gray t-shirt, and that's it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video, for liking it and writing your comment, for subscribing to my channel. And if you want to support me and my future adventures, you can become my patron or YouTube sponsor. All the links are in the description of this video. Okay, goodbye. Пока-пока.